People make the UFC. Dana is the boss, the man who makes the fights. Joe Rogan is the voice, the passionate commentator who embodies the feelings of every UFC fan. And Megan Olivi is the interviewer, the one who gets to know the fighters on a personal level and gives them a platform to connect to their fans. But seeing all these stars like Megan on your TV set week in and week out begs a new question altogether. How on earth did they do it? Well, in this video, we're going to answer that question by showing you where Megan Olivi started and how she rose to the top to become one of the faces of the UFC. Growing up, mixed martial arts was a completely foreign concept to Megan Olivi. Born in New Jersey and raised in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, Megan's favourite sport as a kid was actually gymnastics. She loved watching the world's best gymnasts on stage and wanted to become a pro athlete herself. However, having gymnastic lessons isn't exactly cheap and her family simply couldn't afford it. So, Megan was forced to give up on her childhood dream and pursue something a little more realistic. Thus, Megan went to Seton Hall University to study political science, presumably with a later plan of doing something in the political world. However, while she was attending college, Megan received an opportunity to complete an internship with Fox News, one of America's biggest broadcasting and journalism organizations. While interning here, Megan fell in love with journalism. She was fascinated by literally every stage of the creative process, to the point where she was willing to ditch her career path in politics to pursue a career in journalism instead. This incentivized Megan to earn a master's degree in broadcast journalism at Fordham University. After earning her master's, Megan started the oh-so-painful process of finding her first job. And in 2010, she just happened to stumble on an opportunity to cover an up-and-coming sport in Las Vegas. The sport in question? MMA. Her employer? The UFC. Prior to receiving this job opportunity, Megan had never even heard of MMA, let alone known enough about it to cover it professionally. Nevertheless, Megan took this opportunity with both hands and committed to it fully, moving to Nevada and ready to learn everything there was to know about the sport. And as soon as she started learning about MMA, Megan became hooked. She loved everything about the sport, from the fighters to the beautiful techniques to the plain violence. Megan first started out doing freelance work on the UFC's blog. She also did some digital interviews, which were an instant hit with the fans. When on camera, Megan had a way with the fighters. She was friendly, asked great questions, and despite being new to the sport, showed a serious depth of knowledge. Her natural flair on camera helped her land a better position at the UFC pretty quickly, where she covered live events for the first time. She also did a few lifestyle segments, again helping fans get to know the fighters on a more personal level. Her looks also probably helped her rise through the UFC ranks quickly. I mean, let's face it, Olivi is much nicer to look at than the pre-abs Dana. He used to be a chunky guy. Anyway, in 2013, Megan left the fight world to try her hand at covering baseball on Fox 6 News, as well as a writing position for a baseball magazine. However, by this point, her heart was with the UFC, and almost as soon as she picked up this position, she resigned to go back to work for the UFC. And ever since, Megan's career has become a blur of promotions and better opportunities. She started covering more live events in the USA. Then she was asked to travel the world to cover international fight cards. Then she became the host of the UFC's Ultimate Insider. Then she was given her own series to manage on Fight Pass. She's even done some heavier analytical work, breaking down fights on a tactical level. In a recent interview, she explained how quickly her role in the UFC grew, saying, "So it's just kind of continued to be this growing snowball of things, where I still try and help in the digital space and do as much as I can just to keep it full circle because of the way our fans take in their content. I make sure that I'm doing what I can to provide the best content I can for every platform, not just the broadcast, which is sort of my main responsibility now." And the future couldn't look brighter for Megan Olivi. She's now nothing short of a household name in the organisation and is easily up there with the likes of DC and Rogan in terms of likability from the fans. She's also got her own podcast called Becoming a Fighter with Megan Olivi, where she has a one-on-one chat with various UFC fighters. This podcast has been doing pretty well, in spite of the fact that she hasn't actually uploaded a new interview this year. Hopefully, she'll kick things back up again in the next few months. She even starred in the new Roadhouse movie, which worked closely with the UFC. Though her role was small, it definitely opened up some doors for the future, and we could just see Megan star in some other up-and-coming movies in years to come. Ultimately, Megan Olivi is a genuine example of just how far hard work and dedication can get you. She started with absolutely nothing and was right at the bottom of the UFC's ladder. However, through the years of graft, she's risen all the way to the top, and the UFC genuinely wouldn't be the same without her.